Okay, sorry about that, everybody. I am back live. Let's hope people get back. Yeah, thanks, Nicholas. Sorry about that. I don't know why that happens. It kind of does suck. All right. So, welcome back. This is Nicholas. Are you with me, dude? Nicholas Bell. Hmm. Okay. People are back on. Great. I don't know. Sorry about that. Yeah, when you live stream from China, it's very, very unstable no matter what you do. So these things happen. A couple of my live streams have gone like 2 hours before, and I'm always surprised. Um, I have a bunch of different ones that I use. I won't go into it. You always have redundancies, but even then, sometimes the redundancies don't work. So. Okay, let's I got some questions here from the last thing. How is the situation? Can you go around now? I know I posted a video about Nilesh. Sorry if I mispronounced that name. I know you posted a video about teaching sometime back. Could you maybe do another one soon? Sure, I'd love to. Can you be more specific? What kind of topics when it comes to teaching would you like to see? I've been a teacher for many years. I have a couple of mentors, not only on YouTube, but like here in Zhongshan, that have taught me all kinds of great things. Of course, I've got all the teaching credentials and everything to go with it. But I've navigated the ESL community here in China pretty good over the last few years. So if you want me to address specific things, please let me know. I'm very, very curious. All right. It's weekend. It's expected. kind of. Let's see what else we got. Sorry if this has been asked before, but any sign of classes resuming? Selfishly asking because I'm waiting to start a new job in Chongqing. Thanks in advance, Carl. You're gonna love Chongqing, Carl. Chongqing is an amazing city. I really enjoyed my time there. It's so big, and I was only there for like 2 days. I wish I had spent more time. I can't wait to go back. As far as classes resuming, I think each province, and Chongqing is like a special city. It's like administered by the central government itself. It's not part of like a actual province. But here in Guangdong, the classes are set to start March 2nd, I believe. But I heard a rumor today that they might be pushed back another 2 weeks. So I'm waiting for tomorrow when the administrators come back and have some sessions and whatnot to give us more information, because things change all the time. I have no idea. I really don't. And it's not just you that is waiting. I know many teachers out there that are just waiting to find out when classes start. I have teacher friends here now in town that are teaching online, and I know many students are taking classes online. But I think that varies depending on the type of school and school that you're teaching at. My college is not scheduled to start the term until March 2nd, but I have been told that classes will be for the first 8 weeks all online. So it's the truth lies in there somewhere. I've also been told that I am not teaching online my classes because I'm a lecturer. So I'm not quite sure what the story is. My lesson plans, I have them, but I'm not tweaking them. They're on hold until I get more information over the next couple of days. I hope. I saw you got a car. Can you make a video on how to get a driver's license in Zhongshan? Yeah, I can make a video on how I got my driver's license. It was remarkably easy if you have a driver's license in another country. The difficult part is navigating the notary department here. As well, you have to have an official Chinese name registered with the government. Other than that, it was pretty straightforward. It was quite simple. If you need a driver's license and you don't have a license from another country to begin with, that's a completely different ballgame, and I can't help you with that because I have no experience with that. Cal Fire, same, but Changzhou. I heard term will start in March, and they won't take Dragon Boat holiday so as to make it in time for the Gaokao. Interesting. That's the first I've heard of that. Oh man. I don't know how they're going to make up for this time. I think you mentioned that they're going to add some extra classes on Saturday to make up for this, or the term will just bleed into the summer a little bit to make up for this. I don't think anyone really knows, and maybe it's going to be left to the individual provinces to figure that out. So who knows? I mean, everything's still up, and sometimes I get these notices and stuff. I still get text messages from the city 3 or 4 times a day. We got these memos coming out saying, yeah, the parks are open, but not all the parks are open. The roadblocks are coming down. Well, not all the roadblocks are down. So it's you really just have to see it for your own eyes and wait it out like the rest of us. So I'm sorry I got cut off with that. Let's go back to students for now, like the way you interact with them, homework, etc. I don't give homework. I'm a lecturer at the college, so it's a lot more choral drilling. I do a lot of choral review, and my classes are 100 students plus. So as far as teaching in a training center, I taught in a training center for a few years. It depends on the training center you work at and what kind of curriculum they're using. If they're using off-the-shelf one or one that they've developed on their own, they're all different. They're similar, but they're different in many ways, especially when it comes to homework. But that's not a bad idea. As far as making lesson plans go, if you work in a training center, you're pretty much going to have your lesson plans, already done for you. You tweak them to make it fit your own teaching style. If you're going to a college, if you're going to like a private school or something like that, they may or may not have an existing curriculum. But again, you're going to put a lot of work into your lesson planning. So I recommend watching some videos. I can do some videos on how I lesson plan and the different ways I do it. But your teaching credential should teach you this, the proper way to make lesson planning. And I'm not talking about a regular TEFL. There's no lesson planning in TEFL. It's TEFL is, I took the TEFL and it's mostly just theory. I highly recommend the CELTA. Do the CELTA, pay the money, spend the month. It's an intensive course, but it is so good and it teaches you everything. But not only that, gives you real world experience in the classroom, and you'll be ready to hit the ground running. It is pretty much the gold standard, and everyone's getting it. There's other ones out there, the Trinity, the Delta, that are a little bit above it, but the basic minimum I recommend is the CELTA. Go do that. It really does. Everyone who's taken it, including myself, raves about it. If you haven't taken it, you don't need it to get a job, but I highly recommend you get it. I can see the difference immediately when I see new teachers come through here. Teachers who have the CELTA versus teachers who don't, it's noticeable immediately. So I highly recommend you do that. It's a little unfair, only allowed out every 3 days when you're the only one staying in the place. I agree. So that's one of the things, Nicholas, I'm going to address that with the president of the college tomorrow. It's part of it is the fact that I do live on a college campus. And so they want to keep this place clean as possible, so that I'm happy they let me out every 3 days. But I'd like to go and come and go as I please, honestly. And I'd like to have visitors. I'd like to have my buddies come over and have poker night or something. Yes, unfair. I agree. Can't lecture, teach online. I don't see why not. I can give my lectures online. I'm happy to do that. But when it's an oral English, it's not just me giving, this is it. It's a choral drilling. So in order for me to give a proper oral English, lecture like that, I say something and they repeat, and then I have to listen to see, okay, did the choral sound right, or am I hearing mispronunciation? And otherwise they're just going to stay at home, play with their phones while they click through the PPT, and without having a live audience for me to give feedback from on what's working and what's not, the lesson doesn't work, because the PPT is not the lesson. The PPT above me, the videos that I make, that's all supporting what I'm saying. And it's what I'm saying and how I'm saying it. And me walking up and down the aisles with my microphone and getting people to talk, and then, okay, now you guys, everyone get your partner out, practice, turn around, talk to the girls behind you, ask them the questions and have them answer the questions. And then I can listen to the little groups. I can't do that in an online setting. It just doesn't work. Now, with the English majors, it would be different, obviously, because of smaller class sizes. And you hone in on grammar specifics, and the easy thing to do there, if you just want to focus on writing, is they write a script, and then you work with the grammar they're writing, vocabulary, and then they read the script, and then you work with the pronunciation on it. Maybe they think the virus has morphed into a computer virus. Here we go again. You're in the middle of China's fight against the virus and fight for the world's perception of China. Hang in there. At least you're not surrounded by people whom have come down with the virus. There are people in Zhongshan that have the virus. I stayed in China for a couple of reasons. Number one, I want to abandon people. I don't want them to. I don't want to go to Thailand and sit on a beach while my friends and colleagues are suffering here. Well, my hosts, the people who have hosted me for the last 4 years, this community is suffering. I feel a really deep tie to the community here. They've really welcomed me in. I'm not just talking about the expat community. I'm talking about the entire city. It's been so wonderful. This is like my adopted home. That's why I don't want to leave Zhongshan. I've had many options to go to Guangdong, to Chongqing, all throughout, the Pearl River Delta, to teach and also make a lot of money. But I just don't want to leave this community because they've been so wonderful to me. And I like the city. So I don't want to leave them in the middle of all this. Not to mention, it's easy for me to complain because I'm all alone here on a college campus. But as many of you have commented on my vlogs, it is a very unique experience. That is not lost on me. I've gotten a lot of rest. I've improved my guitar playing skills and my basketball skills, definitely my cooking skills. But I've gotten a lot of time to think, to assess myself and where I'm at. And as the weeks have gone by, I feel a lot more comfortable with the situation of being alone here. Yeah, I want to hang out with my friends and have my normal life. We're all striving for that, but it really hasn't been that bad of an experience. I'm not suffering. If you look at people in Wuhan who are literally stuck in their homes, they literally cannot leave their community at all. Food has to be delivered to them. Or the people on the boat in Japan who cannot leave their staterooms. This is like Club Med, I have free roam of the campus, and the exercise facilities, the field out there. It's quiet at night. It's really pretty good. South Korea has gone to their highest warning now. Yeah, South Korea is in trouble. Iran and part of Italy, infections are crazy. I've heard that too. Again, I maintain that this virus, just like any other virus, thousands of viruses out there, are all dangerous to someone's health. And we all need to take precautions regardless of the coronavirus, which is why we exercise and we eat healthy every day so that we can ward off the superbugs and live long lives. George Carlin said, the meaning of life is not dying. Okay? So it's like today, so many people are out walking in the park, trying to live a normal life, playing with their children. And that's it. We can board ourselves up in our apartments for the next year or so and hope this thing goes away, but it's not going to go away. We have to live with it, just like we live with the thousands of other ailments and diseases and bacteria and dangers of living a normal life. So I don't want it to stop life. Again, that's just my opinion. I was wondering what college in Zhongshan you go to teach. The company where I work at is at East Kuji Road. Hope to meet you in person when I go back to Zhongshan. Hopefully soon. Karen, I hope you come back soon too. I work in the Torch Development Zone at the Torch Polytechnic. Hey, Billy, good to see you, man. I hope you're doing well, Billy. Hey, Billy. Hey, Paul. How's things in isolation? Paul, I saw your Jolly. I saw your videos. It looks like you're back on the bandwagon for YouTube. Good to see you out there again doing your product reviews, allowing people to go. Let me know. Okay, yes, dozens speaking back online would be a challenge. Yeah. I don't want to teach online. Billy, what do you think about that? Billy, how would you teach these classes effectively in an online setting? They told me I was going to do that, so I started tweaking my and then they said, no, you won't be doing it. So they deep Thai or deep chi? Clever Mechanics 12. I don't know what you're talking about. Community is important. Good choice. I agree. There's always the grass is greener on the other side, but that's not always the case, is it? Matt, you at the zoo. The PPT is how the Chinese say PowerPoint presentation. Yes, I can relate. My colleagues in the workplace always say PPT instead of PowerPoint. Yeah, it took me maybe a week to figure it out. Sorry. Yeah. As an American, we have certain vocabulary and vernacular that we use that doesn't translate. So, like, for example, everyone says, you have good, bad, and so-so. I never said so-so till I came to China. I heard everyone saying so-so. I haven't said that since I was in kindergarten, but everyone says it here. I still don't call my friends mates, though. I caught my American friend here. He said, hey, what's up, mate? And I'm like, dude, you're not Australian. What's up? So yeah, and they're doing good. They're fat and happy. I've been feeding them. I was telling the story of how there was a cat stuck in one of the apartments. I had to couldn't get her out, and had no way of feeding her. I had to drop a bag of food through like a little slit in the gate. Dropped it down. I pray to God she ate it. And I went downstairs and flagging down security. Hey, there's a cat stuck. Got to get her out. And security said, no, we don't have a key. And a couple of minutes later, I think the cat jumped out of the window and onto the bushes because she was walking around very quietly after that. So I'm trying to take care of them the best I can. They're a good thing to have on the campus here to keep the rodent population down. They become quite friendly with me. When I come out, they try to jump all over me. I don't like that. They're stray cats. I don't pet them. All I do is I leave food for them, but they know it's me. And I'm praying that when all this is done and the students come back to the campus, they will forget about me. I like the way you think, being optimistic. I try to be optimistic. I have here, and my mother hates me for this. I stole this I did a video about this a couple of years ago. Nobody watched it. I only have maybe 100 views on it. It's called The Optimist Creed. And this was in my mother's bathroom all when I was growing up. And when I left for China, I stole it. But if you don't know what The Optimist Creed is, this is freaking awesome. And it just makes sense, a lot of these. Okay, I'll read it to you guys real quick. Promise yourself to be strong, that nothing can disturb your peace of mind, to talk health, happiness, and prosperity to every person you meet, to make all your friends feel that there is something in them, to look at the sunny side of everything and make your optimism come true, to think only of the best, to work only for the best, and to expect only the best, to be just as enthusiastic about the success of others as you are about your own. That's an important thing I learned when I was studying leadership theory. To forget the mistakes of the past and press on with the greater achievements of the future, to wear a cheerful countenance at all times and give every living creature you meet a smile. The smile is a universal sign of friendship. Everywhere you go, if you go to a country where you know people want to kill you, walk down the street like you own the place and smile at everyone and say good morning. It really makes a difference. To give so much of your time, to give so much time to the improvement of yourself that you have no time to criticize others, and to be too large for worry, too noble for anger, too strong for fear, and too happy to permit the presence of trouble. That's from Optimist International. I grew up as a little boy reading this every day, and so, Mom, sorry, I know you love it, but I stole it, and it's important to me. Yeah. Oh. Again, it's Sunday night. I'm just drinking tea. I hope you all are enjoying. I think in the States it's Sunday morning. I hope you are enjoying a wonderful weekend. Baseball is back. Dodgers, go Dodgers. We had our first game yesterday. Oh, it's going to be a good year. We got the big trade with Mookie Betts, and we got David Price along with everybody else. We lost Hyun-Jin Ryu, but we kept our core players, and I think we've got the most stacked team I can ever remember. I don't remember the Dodgers, being this stacked. It's going to be a fun year to watch. I hope everyone can stay healthy. As far as the Astros go, I hope that everybody boos them, bring trash can lids to every game and bang on them. Make them know that you are very angry about what they did, as they've really, really upset the game of baseball. Not just as a Dodger fan, but as a baseball fan. I think that they deserve that. Okay. Yes, Matt, you're right. I taught my Chinese colleagues to say app and not app. I still do that. I still say, hey, it's we call it app, application, and not app. It's little things like this. And I know the Americans out there understand what I'm going to say next, but I'm sorry for all my Australian and British fans out there, but I hate the word toilet. There's nothing worse than someone at dinner saying, I need to go use the toilet. It's like a 4-letter word for Americans. I didn't realize how prevalent it was in the world. Now, I've been all around the world, and I've been traveling pretty much my whole life, but until I came here, I didn't realize how huge it is. WC, I had no idea what WC was until I came here. Wash closet, water closet, whatever it is. I think that's more of a British term. But yeah, toilet. So I teach all my students, don't say toilet. Say ladies' room, men's room, restroom, even bathroom is okay. Washroom is fine. But I hear toilet and I lose my appetite. It's got to be an American thing. Correct me if I'm wrong. All right, let's see. Hold on, guys. I gotta come back up. Lots of people. Thank you so much for commenting and asking questions. This is so much fun. Do I need to reboot my phone, or is it his connection? It's my connection, guys. If I drop out, hang in there for a minute or two. I should come back. I apologize for that. It sucks. It's one of the bad things about live streaming in China. It's never a perfect connection. Ding Talk has overtaken WeChat due to schools are closed. Ding Talk. Nicholas, I don't know what Ding Talk is. I'm going to have to look that one up. How to teach them effectively online? Can't help you there. I guess the same way. Just don't expect them to learn anything unless they really care. Maybe some would. So business as usual then, right, Billy? That's one of the things about teaching and the type of school I teach and the type of classes that I teach. It took all of last year to get to the I'm used to teaching students who pay a lot of money to take my classes, and they're all intrigued and interested. But when you teach college students, especially polytechnic students who might not care about English. They're just there because it's compulsory. And you get a lot of them that fall asleep or play video games in your class. And it took me a long time, all of last year, and it still bothers me today when they don't pay attention, because I put an awful lot of work into these classes, and for them to ignore me or chat with their friends or sleep, it bothers me, and it still does. If you teach them online, no one's going to pay attention. No one's going to care. Who is Matt? I think the Matt you're talking about is Gyo Nation. Matt, great guy. You don't know Gyo Nation? He did me a solid last week. Mentioned my vlog in one of his vlogs. He's a American dude who I think he lives in Ningbo, but he's cycling around the world on his trike. It's very interesting. He's got quite a plan, let me tell you. But he did me a great solid, and a lot of his subscribers came over and subscribed to my vlog. And I'm always weary about growing really fast, but every one of them that came over just left the most brilliant and supportive comments. It was great. The Gyo Nation, good people, man, let me tell you. Okay, Paul Jolly. Jolly, what do you say? My stepson has enrolled into an online class at Harry's English Center, and they do a pretty good job using the mobile phone and the app and WeChat. It's pretty effective for small kids. I would imagine. I have apps to learn Chinese, and they're pretty effective. At a young age, when he's learning basic vocabulary, and of course he's got you as his dad, right? So that's always a benefit. But most of these students don't have the resources like that available to them. They don't have a foreigner that they could talk to. They don't have online resources, conversational support. So that's a big reason why the training centers are such huge business here. Let's see. They will remember you forever for saving their lives. No, I think they won't care. As soon as another group of people start feeding them, they're gonna forget about me. I heard school's starting around mid-March. Is this true? I heard that too. Just today, I heard from a young student said March 19th. I think it varies depending on what part of the country you're in and how hard hit is your province with the virus. Obviously, it's an evolving process. Nothing's been changed for me. March 2nd is the start of the term, but whether or not they allow the students to come back on the campus and live in the dorms again on March 2nd remains to be seen. I think tomorrow is Monday, so I'm sure they'll have lots of meetings tomorrow to discuss. Harry English sounds like satire from Mama Hoo. I think it is. That was a great video from Mama Hoo Hoo. If you haven't watched the latest one, I put it on my Facebook page. The Surviving the Virus was great. Great. Those guys are freaking awesome. Let's see. No baijiu. No baijiu. I have some rum, but I'm not drinking tonight. I want to get a good night's sleep tonight, so just have some hot water. In 3 hours' time to get up for work, and I'm here listening to a good show. Oh, thanks, Mike. I assume you're talking about me. Matt, Houston cheaters, pumpkin eaters. Yes, they are. Liam, hey, good evening from Foshan. Liam in China. Thank you, man. Liam, are you the one that's stuck in a hotel in Foshan right now? I'm very happy to be isolated in my apartment. It's given me loads of time to catch up and with loads of work. Yeah, you use your time wisely. The hospital, it's the hospital. Brits call it the loo. Yes, they call it the loo. Well, the French call it what do the French call it? Latrine. But yeah, no one knows what latrine is here unless you're in the service. Use the Sunny Mate. I don't know what that is. What happened? Going to the bog. I don't know what that is. Business as usual. Yeah. It's good that you have a good connection. I never get a good connection on the tube in our dormitory. What VPN do you use? I use a variety of VPNs. Always have redundancies available. You know, that's the plan. You should always have redundancies. In case one goes down, you have another one to use. But the connection is still not perfect. It's still rather tough to maintain because live streaming is on YouTube from China is one of the world's largest professional communication and management mobile app. In China with over 100 million users. Interesting. I didn't know that. There's so many apps out there, and I'm an old man when it comes to technology. I mean, just hooking up this mic was. What I want to do is I want to have like a live stream with me like up here in a corner, and then you can see my computer screen down below. And I've searched online on how to do it, and some people have said, "Oh, you got to use this, you got to use that," and I'm like, I just get lost in it. I'm not a tech savvy kind of guy at all. I mean, just editing my vlogs. I mean, I started with zero knowledge, and I literally was just playing with the free Windows software. And I've learned every time I do one, I learn a new something. It's a skill that I'm trying to build. But even that is very difficult for me. When I listen or when I read some of the comments from my YouTube groups on WeChat, you know, you got to do this, use this technique, I'm totally lost. I have no idea what they're talking about. Yeah. What was that masterclass? I should get a subscription to that. Right? Some of them really do care. They will learn something, or just always remember that. That's my goal, Billy. Some of them really do care, but you know, the vast majority of them don't, and that's something I've had to learn to get over. Focus on the ones that do care, because it's the 80-20 rule, right? And if they can, it's such elementary English that I'm teaching. If they can just remember certain phrases, you know, they don't have to remember everything, but just a few things to give them a confidence to walk up to somebody on the street and ask them a question, a basic question. Then I'm happy with that. Teach like Mr. Hand in the Fast Times at Richmond High. Oh man, I haven't seen Fast Times in a long time. I almost forgot it. I've never forgotten the one pool scene, and we all know which one that is. That one we'll never forget. But the rest of the movie, man, I can't remember it that much. Sean Penn, right? Judge Reinhold. Maybe I should download it and watch it. I've been working in China for a year and still haven't learned how to speak one sentence in Chinese. I only know Tepa. I don't know that. Karen, you've probably picked up a little bit of survival Chinese and not even know it. And you should know your numbers at the very least. You know, standard things. Ting butong. That was the first thing I learned. Ting butong. And numbers. Duo and that was one of the first things I learned. And then little by little, you start picking up new vocabulary, and you can put basic sentences together. It's the listening, because oftentimes when people talk to me in Chinese, my listening has gotten really, really good, but still the dialects are so different from person to person. It can be a little disorienting. Hot water equals Chinese superfood. Yes, it is. I'm a convert. I love hot water. Don't get me wrong, I still love cold water, but late at night, hot water is the way to go. It's a little lukewarm now. Oatmeal is a superfood you don't have in China. Yes, we have. I have oatmeal. You can find it. I got mine at Carrefour, and it's just regular oatmeal, some freeze-dried fruit in there, and I make oatmeal in the morning. You know, finding international foods can be difficult. You can get anything on Taobao. I don't shop on Taobao. I refuse to do it. If I can't find it in the store, then I don't need it. That's my philosophy. I think Taobao makes you fat because you just sit on the couch and wait for it to come to you. Now, get off your ass, go look for it yourself. And sometimes it might take me a week in many, many different stores to find what I'm looking for, but you know, that's just the way I do. Unstable, right on cue. Sorry, man. Buffering on cue. Yeah, that's me, stuck in a lovely empty Vienna hotel with a fake 7-Eleven next to the entrance for supplies. You know, I've stayed in many Vienna hotels. They're all the same, but at least they're consistently clean. You know what you're going to get when you're there. But Liam, do you have housekeeping services? Are they going to come change your sheets for you? There's a satire on Mama Who about water, hot water. It's awesome. That satire they did on hot water was great when they're at the gym. It's like, oh, my shoulder hurts, and he pours hot water. That's great. Oh, I highly recommend Mama Hoo Hoo, guys. I really do. Mr. Hand was the hard-ass teacher. Oh, the little short guy. I remember. Okay. They always gave Sean Penn's character a hard time. Okay. I remember. I had a neurotic Latvian girlfriend years ago that always drank hot water. So hot water is not just a Chinese thing, then, huh? All right, what else is going on, guys? Let's talk about this. In my hometown, I'm from Orange County, California, which is in Southern California, just south of Los Angeles. It's where Disneyland is, right? And there's a small city there called Costa Mesa. It's a fairly affluent area, and they want to put the coronavirus patients in America in I think it's called Fairview. It's it used to be like a loony bin, I guess. A loony bin's a bad word. I'm sorry. It's some kind of convalescence community, and it's surrounded by residential areas, but it's got a very large lawn. Anyways, they want to have the coronavirus, those who are confirmed with coronavirus, who had coronavirus, to the country without him asking. You know, this is the same guy that when Ebola broke out in Africa, they wanted to suspend all flights out of Africa to America. You know, it's a little paranoid. Nothing's gonna happen, guys. You put them in Costa Mesa, they're gonna be fine. It's like having a bad cold, the flu. Okay, it's a really, really harsh cold, a really, really harsh flu, but you know they're not radioactive. These people, yeah, they're Americans. You need to take care of them. Oh, Dao Bao, takeout. I also call this Ting Budong. I do not understand. It was also called Miss Tin Pu Tong. Ting Budong. Ting Budong. Mm-hmm. That's standard fare when anyone gets here. It was me when I first came. Ting Budong. I don't understand. Use your apps to help you, and put some effort into it. My first couple of years, I put zero effort into learning English, other than survival English. How to say numbers, how to go shopping and stuff, how to order in a menu in a restaurant. But conversational English, I was intimidated by it, or excuse me, conversational Chinese. I was intimidated by it, and I didn't want to put any effort into it. But in the last year, I've really stepped up my efforts especially with the reading, and trying my best to have conversations. Vocabulary is still difficult for me because if you learn a new vocabulary but you don't reuse it again and again and again, you forget it. It's happened to me over and over and over again. OBS software is pretty awesome software and does live streaming direct. Yeah, I know, Paul. IT's free, pretty easy to use. Learn. Yes, I know. I've tried, I think, 3 different types of OBS software, and I can't seem to get it to work. I've tried it many times, I'm just not savvy enough. I need to learn. Travis Air Force Base, safer. Well, Travis Air Force Base is a giant base, and I know I'm an Air Force troop, and I have many friends who are. I have a really, really close friend at Lackland Air Force Base in San Antonio, Texas, where they've evacuated, and that's where the Air Force basic training is, and it's perfect because there's these communities, these big buildings, which are dorms basically, and they're very isolated on the base itself. But even if you put them in just the hotel, the base billeting, which is basically a hotel, some of them have like shared bathrooms with the person next to you and stuff. But they have like day rooms and community centers and things like this. That's fine. That's what it is at Miramar in Southern California. These are great places for quarantine because Air Force bases are much better than any other base as far as comfort goes. So Air Force bases are like a resort compared to especially like a Marine or an Army base. But Travis Air Force Base is a giant Air Force base. There's tons of places you can put them there. But I see no problem with them going into the community to a local convalescent center that Fairview is. There's this fear. The residents went to the city and got a judge to stop it. And it's like, do we really need to stop it? I mean, at that case, do they really think that when you quarantine somebody in a building that it's going to leak out somehow? It's very paranoid, and it's an example of the fear that I have been railing against since day one. This is the real enemy here, is the fear of the virus itself. The virus itself is a nasty thing, and we can never discount that. But the fear and putting people in boxes is, I think, the more dangerous thing that we need to look at ourselves and say, what are we doing here? What are we doing to these people? Okay, that's just me. Yeah, I know Costa Mesa well. Good night, dude. Thanks for talking. Okay, so what else is going on here? IMF, International Monetary Fund Managing Director, said on Saturday that she expects China's economy will return to normal in the second quarter of 2020. I think that's a little optimistic. We already know we've lost some market share here in China, but it all depends. I mean, here in Guangdong, if you're in other provinces that are not hit that hard, Guangdong relatively is not hit that hard with the virus. You'll see a faster recovery. But other places, especially in central China, in Hubei, in Hunan, I know somebody who's sick in Hunan right now, and they're going to recover much slower, a lot slower. And Hubei is huge. It's a huge part of the industrial system here. And so we're not going to return to normal in the second quarter if Hubei doesn't return to normal. Yeah, things are not going to be normal for a long time out here. I'm curious when they're going to say, okay, you don't have to wear masks in public anymore. But if the community doesn't want it, maybe respect that. Surely there may be communities that would welcome them with open arms, especially in California. Maybe. If the community doesn't want it and they vote against it, you got to support that. But I think it's too much. I mean, I'm not gonna sit in ailments and bacterias and infections and issues, social society issues that we should be more fearful of, but are not because we deal with it every day. It's part of life. It's not irresponsible to talk like that. This is just another element that we're going to have to live with. But don't be so fearful that you stop living your life. That makes no sense to me, to do that, to lock yourself in a house for a year and to wear giant condoms when you go to the park makes no sense to me. Why would you stop living your life for fear of dying, of fear of getting sick? I'm sorry. It's just my opinion, the way I think. You're right. Communism is worse than the virus. I don't know about that. It's just different. China econ will take much longer to recover. I agree, Matt. I think it will take much longer. IMF is corrupt as WHO, maybe. And again, I'm not smart enough to make that. This is just these are economists that make predictions, and I'm just looking at the prediction and seeing what I see on the ground and not putting two and two together. Are Della cheap when you stay because it's made on your doorstep? I mean Dell computers? No. It's you look at like the iPhone. The iPhone's made just across the bay from here, Foxconn, right? Yet they pay more for it in mainland China because of taxes and import fees. It's kind of confusing. However, many other things are much cheaper. Like this chair. Yeah, I would pay. I told you, I paid 300 RMB for this today, which is less than $50. But this chair would be well over $100 in the States. It's still a cheap computer chair, but this just gives you an idea. E-bikes. Look at how much an e-bike costs in America compared to an e-bike in China. So other things are much cheaper here because they are made on the doorstep. It varies depending on the product. Yeah. Downtown LA, cleaner than the homeless hordes. What do you mean, Matt? I know downtown LA very well. Spent a lot of down LA has a huge homeless problem. It's unlike it's you I don't see the home. We have homeless in China too. Of course, every country has homeless, but LA, especially downtown LA, it's crazy there. It's a real problem. Your opinion makes sense. Thank you. I think it makes sense to me. It won't make sense to everyone, and I get a lot of crap from my friends from the YouTube community about the way I think about things and the math behind it all. You know, and I don't want to live my life in fear because that's no way to live your life. I don't want to be a little scaredy cat afraid of the dark. That doesn't make any sense to me. Economists are like seismologists. That's true. They look at economic indicators and make predictions. Wow, that's bad. I love your live streams, man. Thank you, Chris. We'll continue to pray for you and those that are in need. Keep your head up and fight on. We'll do. We'll do. Someone asked me, how can you compare the virus? I said, it's like a bully in your neighborhood. There's a bully out there, right? You're gonna go hide from the bully, in your apartment, or if you get the virus, are you gonna fight it? Like you would anything else. People are like, what happens if you got the virus, Paul? Well, I would fight. I would let my body, try to keep my body as healthy as possible, and I would fight it. Just like everybody else is fighting it. Just like if you're fighting the flu, you're fighting cancer. You fight. The whole meaning of life, not dying. Anything that is made by a non-Chinese company, even if it's made in China, is more expensive. Yeah, Billy, you're right. Billy, let me ask you, do you have freedom of movement, Billy, in your community? Can you come and go as you please? I know many of them, especially in your area and up in Xiaolan, that they are free to come to campus all alone and are not free to go. So, I'm curious about that. Congrats on the new chair. Thank you. I love the new chair. Billy, I've been using the black chairs that were in this apartment for the last year, and they're not good on the back. So I went and got a proper computer chair today. The whole West Coast has had an increasing homeless problem in recent years. And a lot of that, there's many factors that go with the homeless problem. in California. It's cost of living, it's lack of economic opportunity, it's drug abuse. Drug abuse is a huge thing, man. Oh, drug abuse is so bad in America right now. It's everyone knows somebody. Every American knows somebody who is affected by drug abuse of some kind. It's just gotten out of control. I'm not talking about like marijuana or prescription pills, I'm talking about like hard shit. Dude, that's a issue there. But the other thing is, Billy, if you were a homeless person in America, where would you want to live? Would you want to live in Chicago, or would you want to live in Santa Monica? I don't know. I would want to live in Santa Monica and be a beach bum. You know? If you're going to be homeless, it's probably the best place to be homeless. We talked. I live in Minnesota. Oh, thanks, Matt. I'm sorry, dude. I have a horrible memory when it comes to that stuff. You were in MV. Okay, cool. I lived in MV for a little bit too. Maybe 6 months. I rented a house there, not far from Mission Viejo High School. Some in the UK, Billy. I agree with staying positive, but disagree about not staying locked up, mostly because I think the death rate is still unknown. I think the biggest unknown with this virus is how many people actually have it. You know, we know the numbers that they're saying and how many people they can confirm, but I think far many people actually have it and don't know it. They might just have. It's a coronavirus. It's going to be a common thing in our lives, guys. I think that's the number. When you're talking death rates, you need a numerator and denominator. Well, we have the numerator. We know how many people have died, how many people are hospitalized, how many people are confirmed, with the case. But the unknown is the denominator. But if we take the denominator that we have now, the death rate's like 2%, around there, right? Different. It's close to that, I guess. But the denominator is much bigger than, and I think everyone agrees to that. So if the denominator is bigger, then that death rate goes down. I still think that locking yourself up and not living a life is the same as dying as it is. Live your life like you normally would. Wash your hands, don't kiss strangers. If I got the virus, I would drink lots of hot water. Yeah, hot water and Joe. By the way, hold on 1 second, guys. Hold on. Yeah. I just need more hot water. My hot water kettle died on me this week, so I had to get a new one. Ancient Chinese secret. This is the hot water. I was resistant to the hot water for many, many years, but now I swear by it. Very good. If you could look yourself up for a year until the vaccine is made to avoid a 3 to 18% chance of getting a virus and dying seems prudent to me. 18%? Okay. Again, if you want to lock yourself up in a room because you're afraid of whatever, go ahead. Is the best way to avoid being sick, but that's not me. I don't want to lock myself up and stop living. I want to live my life. And forgive me, that's just the way I feel. I've gotten the flu vaccination every year since 1990 while working on Mission Hospital in Mission Viejo, California in college. Excuse me. Yeah. Even when you get the flu vaccination, it's not always perfect. Some people still get the flu because there's so many different strains. They do their best every year to update the vaccination, but it's such a huge issue in America. Even with the flu vaccination, you can still get the flu. So again, just keep yourself healthy, eat right, do everything you can to ward off the super virus. Pretty much free to move around here, but of course there's nowhere to go. Yeah, can't go out to eat. The shops down in Liho were all open today. Every shop at Liho Plaza, but there were no customers. There was nobody shopping. Of course, the restaurants are still all closed. Movie theaters are closed. Even the video arcade where you played, the video games, Dance Dance Revolution, all that was all closed. Also, of course, KTVs, anywhere, all the bars are closed. The parks, Shumuyan, Zemeling Park were open, but there were other parks that were still kind of closed off as I drove around. So hopefully it's getting better. True, I have seen many homeless around SoCal in the past years. Lived here all my life and seen this change. Christopher, yeah, I grew up in Orange County, man. Um, I grew up in Irvine, where there are no homeless people. It's a pretty affluent area. But I bought a house in Santa Ana many years ago, and